Casey, there was a very interesting article that you wrote about guardianship. I guess as parents, we hate sort of having to discuss this because, we hope to be in our children's life forever and ever. And we hope to see them grow up and do wonderful things. But why is it important to make sure that we do appoint a guardian for our children?
I guess it won't be a problem if, I won't say problem, it's like when both parents are there and one of them is not around anymore, then you still have the surviving parent, so he or she can be the guardian. But the problem is when, nowadays we like to do things together as couple. So like travels, or what about if a double tragedy happened? So both parents won't make it back at home. So when this happens is that if you don't appoint a guardian in your will, then it becomes unknown guardian. So who is going to be the legal guardian of our children? Mm-hmm. So when that happens, you will leave this to the court. So basically, court will decide who is going to be the legal guardian. And sometimes a problem arise when you leave a substantial inheritance. So there will be some people who you wouldn't ever think of he or she is going to be applying to become a guardian. Then they will all suddenly pop up and trying to be someone who are going to influence your children.
Mm. So if something happens to both parents and they don't have a will even, and they don't appoint a guardian, what will the courts do?
I think it will depend on who is going to be applied to become the guardian. So
you have to apply it. It doesn't
yes.
automatically goes to like the grandparents or the sister or.
No, I think the court will decide. So it also depends on the situation, right? So I haven't been gone through the process myself, so I'm not totally understand how this works. But what I understand is that if because there's no guardian appoint, so and whoever apply, the judge will decide who is the most suitable one.
Oh, so it's not done within the family itself. A court has to appoint a guardian for the child.
Yes, it could be the sibling of the parents, or it could be the grandchildren. It could be grandparent, one of the grandparent maybe, and then you will have problem with maybe the paternal parents want to be the guardian, and the maternal parents grandparents will want to be the guardian as well. So it will be some quarrel in the court maybe if that's the case.
Oh, that's going to be, more headache, right? For the children as well. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, we want our children to be taken care of by someone who is qualified to do it, I guess, right?
But who is more suitable to do it, I guess.
So when we are picking a guardian, what are some of the necessary qualities that we need to look out for?
Of course, we start with the basic that you want a person that is dependable and maybe trustworthy, a person with integrity. But I guess the most important is that you know that that person is going to love your children as if your children is theirs. And I'll give you a quick tips. So just look at how the potential guardian bringing up his or her own children. So you look at their children. Are they good? Are they obedient? Do they have good manners and or do they have good habits, like hardworking in the study or something? So that's the point of like doing evaluation. Then you can see who are going to be the suitable guardian for your children if need to be.
All right. And when you choose a guardian, does that mean that guardian automatically are also the trustees to our children's inheritance?
Actually, not really, unless you make it so in your will. That means the trustee and also the guardian is the same person. If you make it that way, then they'll be the same person. But it's not automatically. So basically, the role of the guardian is just he or she has the legal authority to make decision for your child. So they are going to oversee the welfare and the safety of the children. But the role of the trustee is someone who holds the assets, like for safekeeping and for the benefits of your children. So basically they are managing the assets. So separate the two. You got to separate the two to prevent conflict of interest. Just for example, a simple example would be like if let's say the guardian say, oh, I need to take care of all these your children, and I need 10,000 a month. So if the trustee is the same person, he can easily agree with that, or 20,000 or 30,000, whatever. Right?
Oh, so your advice would be appoint a guardian, but also appoint a trustee so that you don't have the conflict of interest. Like, as in the guardian won't want to take care of the children just because of the money involved.
Yes.
But what if the guardian and the trustee argues, It's like, hey, I'm taking care of the children. Why aren't you giving me any money, to take care of the children?
Yeah. So this is something you have to really consider, like contemplate about who is the suitable person to be the trustee and the guardian. So basically, guardian should be a person. It have to be a person, but the trustee, you can use a corporate trustee, so that will reduce the situation of conflict of interest.
A corporate trustee, like a lawyer or things like that, is it?
Yeah, they have this. These services. Trustee corporation. So you have. Am I supposed to name some name? Right, like Rock Wheels. I think they have. There are a few. Okay. There are a few out there. Yeah.
Okay. But I guess in the end
of
the day,
they're managing the so it's properly managed. Is it? Is that why?
Yes. Basically, they just safekeep the assets. So whenever the guardian needs something, so she'll have to ask from the trustee. Say, now the child is going to university, so he's going to spend like 50,000, and we need to pay this. Then you come up with the offer letter and everything, so you can get the money out.
Oh, so you have to have proof, and you have to apply sort of to the trustee.
So imagine if the guardian and the trustee is the same person. So basically, I can sign whatever check I want, right?
Interesting. Actually, never really thought about that, right? Yeah. But do we need to, do we need to write it down in a will, or is it sufficient just to have a verbal confirmation?
No. Actually, the process is that of course you have to get a verbal consent, because when you're naming some person, person become a guardian, then you don't want to give him a surprise, right? They might like the birthday surprise celebration, but they don't like this kind of like, what, you want me to
suddenly I have 3 kids, yeah, right?
Yes. So of course, before you appoint them, you want to tell them or talk to them and see whether they would be happy to do that. But normally, if we're at the same age, let's say I'm your good friend and or we are sibling, so I would like to be the guardian of your children, and of course you do the same for my children. So normally that is the best arrangement, and that is just verbal, but you have to get it down on paper. So that's why the will as a legal document comes in to do that part.
Okay, so it's important for everyone to have a will, even though. But what if you don't have many assets or things to pass on to other people? Should we still have a will just for guardianship's sake?
Yeah, this is something a very common question. So like a person that is single, probably you don't bother much, because probably there's nobody depending on you, right? But when you start to get married and you have children, you have a child, I think will is a very, very important document. You have to get it done right.
Yeah.
And
what if we don't
just
have
for the guardianship? That is
just for the guardianship.
Yeah, that's the most compelling reason to have one. Yeah.
Because imagine if like you're a couple, but you're renting a place and you have your own car, and that's one car. I mean, not much money in the bank. There's not much to pass on to your child anyways, Yeah. But just for guardianship's sake, we should write down a will, especially if we are parents.
That could be the most compelling reason. Of course, a will can also handle a lot of other stuff, right? If you're talking about the will, then if you have even a little bit of asset, it will help the process. I mean, a simple will help to expedite the process to unfreeze all your assets.
Okay. And a will cannot be just like something that we wrote down ourselves. It has to be
Oh yes,
something.
yes, it can be. It can
Oh,
be.
okay.
So there are some rules that you can follow. That means if you write it down on a paper, and when you sign it, you just need to have two witness. Yes. So you have two witnesses to sign together, say that they are the witnesses that you actually signed the paper. So then that will can be valid.
Oh,
so you don't need to go to a commission of oaths or go to court and get a
no.
judge to.
No,
yeah, because initially I thought we have to have at least a lawyer there to bear witness to having a will, and then we have to pay the lawyer to sort of verify this will.
Of course, we can easily get a will done by just downloading some template on the web, and then there are also some services that's quite affordable, maybe very cheap template. They can give you maybe $100 or $200. Then you can just change a little bit, then it will become a valid will for you if you just get the two witnesses to sign together. But of course, if you want to get it done properly, because it's a very important document, then of course you will speak to an estate planner, then a financial planner. They will normally advise you to get it done properly. So it will cost a little bit more, but you have the peace of mind that it got done.
Okay, yeah, because most of the time we think about all this only in the end of our lives, but we don't know. I mean, touch wood, we don't mean to be morbid or anything, but we don't know when the end of our lives is, right? So it's best to get it done while you're still alive and breathing. Oh my God, so morbid. But like thinking about it, how many guardians should we have? Should we appoint a couple, a husband and wife couple, or should we appoint an individual?
You should appoint an individual, so just one person can sign on behalf, like. So it should be a person, and of course in your will you can put a substitute to that person, and you can put a substitute to that substitute. So you can put 4 or 5 names.
So it can be plan A, plan B, plan C,
yes,
that kind of thing. Okay.
In that case, you don't have to change your will in the case when the first guardian say, "Hey, please don't put my name there," or something, right? So he or she might not agree to become a guardian when the things when she was required to do that. So she can decline, and then the guardianship can go to the second substitute.
On the flip side of that, don't the kids get, I mean, let's just say they're not kids, like they're old enough to know, don't they get a say who they want to live with?
So like teenager? What do you mean, right?
Let's say, or maybe even tweens, maybe that they're 10
like 12, 13, they know, they know more. They're not like toddlers.
No, I don't think they have a say in this.
Wow.
So they have to be really adult, 18 years old. Then they don't need guardians to sign all their paper. They can make decision for themselves. So before that, then of course you will need adults to make decision for them.
Okay. But what I worry is, say you've already verbally, for example, say I talk to my sister-in-law and she's agreed, okay, I'll be your guardian for your kids if anything were to happen to you, right? But once, if touch wood, I am gone and my husband is gone as well, and my sister-in-law is not doing a good job, who is going to, who has the authority to say that I'll take the children back or take the children out of that household?
That is the complicated issue.
Yeah, I mean, who has the authority to say that? Do we have to go to court? Like the family will have to go to court?
Yeah, you have to go to court for that. That's my understanding.
Okay.
Of course, I'm not a legal advisor or anything, so I don't know the whole process how to get this done properly. But when we do estate planning, when you do a will, of course, when you put a guardian there, you will really have to think through all this. You want to reduce, to prevent the complication. So when it happens, really, let's say the guardian is not doing a good job, then of course somebody have to discover that, right? So that somebody, when he discovered it and he has the will, has the wish or what the desire to help your children to like go to court or something, right? So that's why if it is being that, it is a very complicated issue. So you want to prevent that. That's why you want to have a will, assign the proper guardian.
Now, I know you're a financial advisor, right, Casey? So from a financial educator standpoint, how important is it to have a will and to have a guardianship in your will, especially if you are parents?
It will basically, will is just a part of the solution. That means the financial point of view, because you, in a will, it is just stating that you give whatever to your children, right? Or to your spouse. So if both parents are double tragedy, they are not around anymore, that means the children will inherit all the stuff. We're not talking about just your houses, maybe you have 2 or 3, or just your car that's useless for the child. Some money, but you will have a lot of insurance money, probably.
True.
500,000, $1 million, 2 million, right? So if it accident, probably a few millions, because you have some personal accident insurance payout. So when that happened, the child, if in your will you say everything given to the child, then when your children get majority age, 18 years old, they will get hold of all that stuff. So they might become an instant millionaire. So there's no need to go to university anymore. You can skip your study. You can start buying your sports car. So basically, on the financial point of view, we want to prevent that. We don't want to dump a lot of money on their lap and spoil them. So that's why another arrangement will be the Family Protection Trust. I'll just give them the name Family Protection Trust so that you understand. It's just a trust. It's a trust. Basically, you transfer some of your asset into a trust. So it can be cash if you have a lot. If not, then you can transfer your insurance policy, which will become a lot only when you die, right? If you're still okay, the insurance is not a lot of money that you need to spend on. Then the trust, basically it will be more structured. In the trust deed, the document, you can convey the value you want your children to acquire, well, to live by. So what's your hope for them, or what kind of achievement you want them to achieve, and how do you want them to live their lives? You can put it down, and then you can put deal inside. You can put incentives. Let's say you want him to get a PhD, and say if you can finish your PhD, then I'll probably give you another 100,000 or something.
Wow.
When you are age 25 or
cow.
something. Or you want him to become an entrepreneur. You can say, I have a startup fund, but you have to do business, do certain kind of business or something, or you achieve something in your business, then I pump this money to grow your business or something. So it can be done through trust. And also you can pay your guardian using the trust money. You don't necessarily need to put it in your will too.
Okay. Do we need to pay like the guardian monthly for like a payment?
Oh, I don't expect to work for free, right? Especially when a job is like 24 hours a day. So of course, I would say you should compensate the guardian adequately. So it also depends on the situation of the guardian. So if he or she is a millionaire and they have a lot of money, probably they don't need that money, right?
Yeah.
But it depends on the situation. So I think you should pay adequately on top of what your children is going to spend.
Yeah. Okay. So something like an allowance, maybe, if they don't need the money. Yeah.
Yes.
At
and
least,
it should be regular.
Yeah.
Right?
Monthly payment sort of. Interesting. So many things to think about. You
a lot
really
of
have
stuff
opened up my mind to think about all these things, especially now that I have children of my own.
Do you have a will already?
No, I don't.
Oh, no, yeah, you have to. Yeah, when you say you're appointing the guardianship, you and your husband, you have to appoint the same person.
Yeah.
If not, there'll be another conflict.
So my husband and I will have to have separate wills. Is that right?
Yes, one person, one will.
Oh, so we can't have the same. Oh, but in terms of guardianship,
because when you go, you go at different times, right?
Depending, most of the time.
Yeah, you basically each person will have a separate will. So in your will, you make sure you don't conflict your guardian. Yeah.
Okay, a lot of things to discuss with my husband this evening.
I think you can get it done within a few hours. So
now, Casey, before you go, like, what advice can you give to us parents, when it comes to planning our children's future? Should we no longer be in our children's future?
I would say just the family protection trust is a very important thing to set up. Most people, if you don't have a will, you should get the will, and you can do it together with the trust. So of course, most people, if you have insurance agent already serving you, when you have children, they will ultimately come to you and say, hey, you should top up your insurance. Yeah. So insurance is just part of it, because you are just providing the financial means for your children to carry on if you're not around. But how do you manage that money? Then you need the trust. So you have these three documents: will, trust, and also the insurance to fund that trust. So this is a very economical way to set it up, because you're buying insurance. I think the thing that costs the most is the insurance. Probably you buy $1 million, million ringgit insurance, it will cost you maybe 1,000 a month or something. Mm-hmm. Then the trust deed, a couple thousand maybe, and then the will, couple hundred. Then you can get all this set up.
Also, the trust, we have to get it done with a lawyer, is it?
Yeah, lawyer can do that, and you have to find a specialized lawyer, or you can find the businesses that provide this service.
I see.
There are a few. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the will we can write on our own, as long as we have.
Normally, when you do the trust, you should get them do the will together. Because you don't want to conflict. So the easier way, I think, the best is you set up the trust first. But to set up a trust, you need insurance policy, because you don't want to put your cash in there, because the cash you want for yourself to spend, right? For your own retirement.
Yeah.
But you can just assign an insurance there, so it's very, very cheap, right? You assign insurance there, and you set up a trust. So the sequence will be: you set up a trust, and then you assign an insurance in there. Mm-hmm. Then the trust is effective. Then you can write your will. Then your will can say that whatever money left, if let's say that both parents are not around, then that money you can all goes into the trust as well. Yes. So the trust is, I think, the most complicated document in this sense, because you have to really think of what you want to convey to your children. So like what I say, you want them to be an entrepreneur, or you want your daughter to be a dancer or something, or want them to pursue their interests or whatever you want them to do. So that trust will take some time to really think about.